So, how do you feel the election is going? You know what? As Canadians, I think probably most of us are sick and tired of discussing this. You know what? The biggest thing is that now the lies are starting to be, uncovered. There's so much going on. One of the things that I've been struggling with is the fact that, the Liberal Party continues to try to stoke the fire that the enemy here to Canada is the United States. I mean, it's so beyond, anything that I think most people can comprehend. And the fact is that, President Trump, he backed off on virtually all the tariffs to, get everybody's attention. And yet the Liberal Party continue to fuel the fire, trying to make that the biggest case for them to be reelected. And this guy here continues to stoke the fire, saying that he's the only one that can handle President Trump. But, when a guy like that says it, you got to wonder exactly where is he coming from? I mean, didn't he already have a conversation with President Trump? That's right, he did in March. And here's what happened. He turned around flat out after the conversation, said Trump respected Canada's sovereignty during the call, Carney says. Now, that to me would interpret that, leader of the Liberal Party, Mark Carney, is sitting there basically saying that President Trump understands and that Canada is off the shelf right now. So this is what Carney wanted to do, to bolster his strength, to show that he's standing up to President Big Bad Trump. But in my opinion, didn't that just get all unraveled when Trump actually posted and, the narrative changed literally a day ago that said that Carney actually turned around and during the conversation, Trump talked about the 51st state during call with Carney. And guess who actually reported it? Radio Canada. Hey, isn't that part of, I don't know, Carney's group? Here's the thing. The fact is that the facts are the facts. So if President Trump brought it up, again, mentioning the 51st state, don't you think that Carney should have mentioned that to all of us? Well, let's see what he had to say about that.
Yes or no, did Mr. Trump bring up the 51st state in his call with you?
I said that he did. I said that he did. But the president, to be clear, the president respected Canada's sovereignty today, both in his private and public comments.
So, I don't know. Am I hearing things or, Carney, after his phone call, turned around during the press conference and said he respected our sovereignty. Well, I'm pretty sure a guy that respects sovereignty isn't going to be sitting there suggesting the 51st state. But then he doubles back and says, oh, wait a minute, he did bring it up. Yeah, he brings it up all the time. Here's the thing. If his lips are moving, and I'm referring to Mark Carney's, if his lips are moving, he's lying. We know that for a fact because he's continued to lie or mislead. Let's take the word lie out of the equation and say mislead Canadians. That's right. Because right now, here he is. He will not divulge where all his assets are. Now, it was funny during the debate, the other three leaders there have all divulged everything about themselves, and Carney sat there and went, no, I don't have to. I still have so much time left before I have to. Because legally in Canada, if you're going to be the Prime Minister of Canada, you have to divulge all of your assets. And it's funny how he can't bring himself to do it. And it's probably because he's got so many shell companies, hey, some of them even, off the coasts here, and he's got all his money hidden there. When we talk about Brookfield, that is the company that Mark Carney's affiliated with, worked with, was a chairman of, and apparently has stepped away. Not down, not away, not quit entirely, but stepped away. And at this point, Brookfield is, gearing up to do what? Oh, build modular homes. Hey, that's pretty cool. Bought a huge pipeline in the United States for oil. Now, why would they do that? Oh, that's right. Because if Mr. Carney can here turn around and shoot some of the Canadian oil down through that pipeline, guess what's going to happen? I know I've been really hard on this person, and a lot of people have even brought it to my attention and say, you don't like Mark Carney very much. No, actually, I don't. As a Canadian, I don't like anything about him. His tax returns for the last 5 years really haven't been filed in Canada. They're abroad. He doesn't truly own, a home, or doesn't call Canada home. I don't think he's Canadian. I always wondered, why is Mark Carney running to be the Prime Minister of Canada? When we start digging down, and even 5 years ago, when they started lining up all the chess pieces about how Mark Carney eventually, becoming the economic advisor, and by the way, the economic advisor to Justin Trudeau, but guess what? He didn't charge anything. It was for free, so he can't be held accountable for anything. And it's amazing how the manipulation has gone, but why exactly does Mark Carney want to be the Prime Minister of Canada? He doesn't really like Canadians. Have you ever seen him in his press conferences? He definitely doesn't like Canadians asking him questions, like real questions. Gee, Mr. Carney, what are you going to do for us? Well, I'm going to take away all your rights. I'm going to take away your cars. I'm going to take away everything. But you're going to be happy because I'm going to build a shoebox, which you're not going to own. For the generations that are coming, up, what about you? I mean, can we really take a look at this? It was interesting because a gentleman turned around and said to me, he said, I am going to vote for Mark Carney because I believe in the person. And I said, yeah, but that's the Liberal Party. And he goes, it doesn't matter. I'm voting for the person. Well, it's kind of contradictory to what everybody's been telling me. When I say, when you vote for the Liberals, you're voting for Mark Carney, they say, no, well, we're voting for the party. And so when you take a look at the big picture, do people really know what they're getting with Carney? I mean, he disappeared years ago. He went over to be the head of the Bank of England, and then he returns only to take his company and move it out of Canada and to New York. Now, for those of you in business, you're going to sit there and say, well, maybe it was a smart move for his company. Yes, for his company. That's right. Every single time we hear something like this, it's for his company. The benefit of Brookfield. What about Canada? As a Canadian, I like to know that my, person that's going to lead the country actually pays taxes here. In Canada, the only place you're going to pay taxes because you're a Canadian citizen, Canadian taxpayer. Hey, you're helping us. Not that you're sitting there trying to pull these shell games and turn around and hide and not give Canadian tax money. Like, this is the thing. Who are we truly electing? A guy that I don't think likes Canadians at all. He's flat out come out and said it. For the more aged people, they call them the boomers. Why would you want to sentence the next generations to this? I mean, there are people that sit there and they're going to be true-born liberals from day one. But for the last 10 years, have you not been affected by everything the liberals have done? I mean, there's nobody that I think that I've spoken to has ever said the last 10 years they're better off now than they were before. Absolutely nobody. Okay? Our country's not. Our deficit's gone through the roof. We're making commitments to build things that we're incapable of building. We do not have the infrastructure. We do not have the people. Heck, we don't have the trades, but yet our door's wide open to anybody that wants to walk in. And by the way, we're going to pay them to be here for doing nothing. The idea that Mark Carney, and again, we can talk about the polls because the polls are, saying that he's leading. But it's funny because, the Conservatives want to defund the CBC, which is basically the talking point for Carney. And it's amazing the amount of money that the government has spent to change the polls, change the narrative. I mean, a lie is a lie. It's as simple as that. We know that he lies. He's been caught in numerous lies. And now when we take a look at the big picture, we're coming down to the end. Now, I know the advanced polls, they're saying, oh no, Carney's way ahead. Is he? And if he is, then I'm going to implore all other voters to get out and actually vote for a party that's going to actually take care of Canada. I mean, shouldn't we really be worried about Canada first? And I know it's stealing a phrase from the Americans, but it's not. I think every single country should worry about their country. I don't think we should be shipping our money everywhere but our country. Our homelessness is up. Our our infrastructure is absolutely in destitute, condition. When you take a look at our healthcare, people can sit there and say Canada's got free healthcare, but it's failing like crazy. Like the lineups are nuts. The people that are coming in are just like eating up our health system. I think as a Canadian, coming into Monday's election, I know I want to make a vote for change. Don't you? I mean, do you truly believe on what this party has done to Canada? And do you really believe in their new leader who really wants no part of Canada? Well, I leave it up to you. The vote's Monday, the final, part of the election, and we'll see. Quite frankly, you know what? It's going to be pretty sad if everybody gives these people another mandate, because I'm really concerned about the future of our kids, as I always am, the next generation, and our security. As a working taxpaying Canadian, I want to watch out for working taxpaying Canadians. I don't think this person who wants to be the Prime Minister of Canada really cares about Canadians. Love to hear your opinion. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Todd C. Slater.